I was doing some self-reflection earlier this week, as Chadwick Boseman died and all that stuff. It just kind of got to me, and I was like, you know something? I need to look at things that I've done, things that I've accomplished, things that I've went through, look at pictures, memories, and see how far I've came. And a lot of times we have to do that. A lot of times we are in a rush. We just go, 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 but you don't take a step back to really analyze. That's what this video is about. I want to talk about beating the odds. A lot of us, especially me, I grew up in a small town in South Carolina, and just looking back at it, the way the education system is, the way the city is set up, it's hard to make it out. It's almost like a black hole. If you grow up there, you end up typically staying there or not having a lot of opportunities sometimes. And just taking a step back, as y'all saw earlier, just showing pictures of me when I was little. I was looking at some of those pictures. I was like, wow, like even the neighborhood that I grew up in, from like kindergarten to 4th or 5th grade, it's like I wouldn't say, it was a very crime-filled area. And, a lot of kids was up no good, stealing, fighting, you know what I'm saying? And of course, I had to hang out with those people because, hey, I was a kid, I ain't had nobody else to hang with, so going to school with them and stuff like that. So just looking back at it, I just realized, like, I'm probably not supposed to be where I am. You know what I'm saying? Where I am now, living in Atlanta, having my own space, doing all this YouTube stuff, having a corporate job, going to college, graduating. Like, the way it was set up, it was like that was supposed to be my life, being in the street and staying in my hometown. And for y'all that don't know, I'm from Sumter, South Carolina. I even remember going to high school. I switched districts, so I went to high school, wasn't in any honors classes, just was in like college prep classes, had students in there, kids in there, acting out, could barely concentrate in class, you know what I'm saying? But even before then, I realized, like, yeah, I can't stay here. Like, I can't stay here in my hometown. As much as I want to stay here, stay with my family, I cannot stay here. If I want to be something, someday I'm going to have to make it out. Because once I got to high school, I realized, just looking back, I saw how many people stayed and didn't have a choice but to stay, and had to stay and make a way in my hometown. And there's not many opportunities there. I even remember in high school, I could barely find a job because a lot of the older people had jobs that the younger folks should have had, whether it was a grocery store, working at shoe stores. Like, a lot of the older people ended up working some of those jobs. So it was harder to find a job in that city, with it being smaller and having 3 high schools there and other kids trying to find jobs. And then, it was very hard. In high school, I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, I want to be something one day. I want to be something one day where I can give back, I could contribute to the community, I can give back to my family, I can make a name for myself, I could be out here doing my own thing. I don't need any help, any support. I could do this, I could do this. And I just remember having that thought. It was like an epiphany. And I was like, I have to go to college. I gotta go to college. I gotta get the hell up out of here. I feel like in order for you to beat the odds in anything, it could be you trying out for a team and the coach was like, nah, but you ended up doing something else and then hopping on another team or transferring to another school and becoming a star. You're beating the odds. Or it could be your parents saying you ain't gonna be shit, and then you end up being a doctor. You're beating the odds. Or even if you grow up in the area where all you see is corrupt, or all you see is people staying in your hometown, you don't see too much going on, nobody leaving. When you leave and you make a name for yourself and you get out, you're beating the odds. I feel like the best way to beat the odds, guys, is to have that grit and that determination. You have to have that determination. Like, you have to persevere no matter what. If I didn't have that determination to want to get out, or I didn't have that perseverance, I probably would have been still there. I probably would have still been there, probably living with my mom, probably, just working just to work. And there's nothing wrong with staying in your hometown, especially if it's smaller. There's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes people have bigger goals, bigger opportunities, bigger things that they want to achieve. And sometimes where you grow up, you're not able to do that. When you think about beating the odds, always think about determination. How determined are you? And how do you feel about where you're trying to go? Are you really passionate about where you're trying to go? Please figure out what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's something that you want to do and your hometown do not offer it, or you feel like you cannot make it, or you feel like you can't make your dreams a reality in your hometown, you got to leave. Beat the odds. Beat the odds that was set against you. You know, I remember being in high school and, you know, people saying, yeah, you could go off and do this, you could do this and do that. But in the back of their head, those teachers and guidance counselors, a lot of them knew that a lot of us was gonna stay in that town and they will see us year after year after year after year after year after we graduate. You don't think about it like that, but teachers and principals and guidance counselors, they know who are gonna make it out and who gonna do this and that. They know, or they think they know. In order for us to truly grow, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And I didn't want to leave the nest, but I left the nest, went 40 minutes up the road to the University of South Carolina. So I left the nest. Technically, I left the nest, but you have to leave the nest sometimes, and you have to really take that chance and take that step in order for you to grow, in order for you to beat the odds. I think the number one way to beat the odds is to ignore external things. Do what you want to do when you're in that mind state. Like if you're just graduating high school or whatever, or you're still in your hometown, you're trying to get out, you're trying to make a name for yourself, make a way, ignore external minds. That could include your parents, that could include your friends, that could include people that's trying to hold you in. You know what I'm saying? People that's trying to keep you where you're at. Sometimes we have a lot of people in our lives that want to keep us where we're at just for selfish reasons, just because they want to see you every day. They want to still chill with you. They still want to hang out with you. They still want the lifestyle with you in it. And if they see you leave, they won't have you in that lifestyle anymore. But at the end of the day, ignore that. Ignore what your friends are doing. If your friends are staying, ignore that. If you want to get out, go. If your parents are saying, hey, you need to stay in here, you need to stay here, you could go here, boom. If that's not what you want to do, ignore it and go about it the way you want to go about it. Now, fortunately, I didn't have anybody trying to hold me back. My parents, my mom and dad, they was like, go off, do you. They saw more in me than I probably saw myself at the time. Always go with your mind. Always go with what you want to believe and feel. Whatever you feel in your heart and your mind, that's what you need to go for. And once you go for it and it fail, then you can kind of take into external options. You know what I'm saying? But you need to go with what your gut is telling you, what your heart and your mind is telling you. And if your heart and mind is telling you to get out and go, branch off, do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to. Because you only live one life. Some people grow up and they don't have to beat the odds. Some people grow up and they have things handed to them. They have opportunities soon as they come out the womb. But me, didn't have opportunities like that. Didn't have anything handed to me like that, except for my first car. My sister gave me my first car. Shout out to you. But a lot of times things aren't handed to us, so we have to find a way and make a name for ourselves the hard way. But sometimes the hard way of coming up is not the fastest, but it's the most rewarding because you feel like you worked to get where you are. Like I legit feel like I worked my behind off to get to where I am now. Whether it's being in Atlanta, having my own place, having a corporate job, YouTube, friends that I have. I work so hard to get to where I am. I work hard to get through college. I work hard. When I tell you, you know what I'm saying? Nothing was given. And sometimes you need that journey to beat the odds. You need that journey. Nothing is more rewarding than the journey itself. Remember that.